is on that document 0. So if you have two screens or a split screen, you can look at it. If you don't see the pull-down menu, File, Edit, View, you may not. You can go to this button here and either unhide or hide the menu. So the default might be this. You don't see the pull-down menus, only the ribbons and the tabs. If you want to see, I typically do a lot of my work from the pull-down menu. I learned a long time ago, and I use the pull-down menus. There's about at least 2 or more different ways of doing everything in AutoCAD, but I'm still doing it the old school way. So if you don't see what I'm talking about, the menu bar, it's right here. So right next to where it says Civil 3D, there's this pull-down menu. Make sure it says Show Menu Bar, and then you see your classic AutoCAD pull-down menus, at least the first few. File, Edit, View, Insert, and so on. Then the rest are custom to Civil 3D. So I go to File, and I go New. When you create a new file, it looks for DWT, a template. And by default, it takes you to these 2. These are the AutoCAD out-of-the-box provided factory templates. Do not use these. Please do not use these. I've taken one of these and modified it, and I've created my own for this course. Okay? So where do you find that? Well, it's in that Downloads directory under Module 1. So you go to your desktop, you go to the Civil 3D 543 directory, you go to Downloads, you go to Module 1, and you should see the 2020 metric template. That's the one you want to use. Okay? If you don't use this one, you're going to have problems later on in the course. Okay? Because I'm going to ask you to apply certain styles or perform certain functions, and everything you need is in this template. If you don't use this template and I ask you to use a style, it won't be there because I didn't. The out-of-the-box one has been modified to be this. So you use this, you say Open, and it'll automatically create a new drawing called Drawing 2. It kind of indexes the drawings. So it says Drawing 2. In the PDF, let's go down to the Downloads file. In the PDF 0, once you do that, it says Step 1, start the software, File, New, select the template. Please use the one that you downloaded, not the one that comes out of the box with AutoCAD. Type DD Units. Back to AutoCAD. This is just a preliminary. You don't need to do this, but I think it's worth checking. DD Units. Just make sure that the units are in meters, and it should be. I believe the template is set up like that. Right here. Make sure this is in meters. If it doesn't say meters, change it, but it should be. That's part of the settings in the template. Okay, and then lastly is save the drawing. Call it 543 Topo. Please use this name. Okay? Don't customize it. Don't add a hyphen. Keep this exact name. Okay? And there will only ever be one DWG called 543 Topo. So back to the software. Again, the Drawing 2 file. Save as. Put it on your desktop in the course code right there. Okay? So right under CDA 543. And you're going to call it 543 Topo. The .dwg will automatically happen. There's no harm in typing it, but you don't have to. It'll take care of it for you. So when you say save, it now has this drawing called Topo 543. And if you look at the top of the screen, it should say the software version, Autodesk Civil 3D 2020 543 Topo. And if you look at your directory structure, if you go to the desktop, CDA, the drawing is right there. And then you have that Downloads directory with all the files that you're going to have. Then you'll have a collection of Module 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by the end of the semester. So make sure you put the drawing right there, right under the course code. In assignment 2, you're going to create one more drawing the exact same way. It's just going to have a different name. It's going to be called 543 Basement. That's where you do your design work, right? But for now, assignment 1 only requires the one. Okay? Now here's how you know you used the template correctly. Let me show you. Now, first of all, before I go on, any questions? Any questions so far? Okay, I expect you, if you have Civil 3D, to be doing this as we go. Okay, so if you haven't done it, you might have to come back and review the video or use that PDF as a guide. But I'd like you to have this done before the end of class today, for those of you who have AutoCAD ready to go. If you don't have AutoCAD, that's your first priority. Make sure Civil 3D is up and running by the end of this week. Okay? Okay, because I will begin to teach what you need to know to do assignment 1 tomorrow. Okay, any questions so far? So it's a very short procedure to get going, okay? But if it goes wrong, it's going to be a problem later, okay? Here's what you want to check. So I'm going to go back to my AutoCAD, right? In the drawing called 543 topo. Now, if you zoom extents, you're not going to see anything. There's nothing here, okay? You have to create the content yourself, and I will. I'll show you how to get started. We'll do the project work starting tomorrow, but certainly you need this drawing to get going. If you want to see, whoops, somebody's got a question. If you want to see whether you did it right, you can do this. I'll show you. Are you going to start from the beginning tomorrow? No, I want you to have this file ready for tomorrow. Okay? And if you don't have Spill 3D running yet, if you haven't got the software going, you're going to have to come back and review this recording before next week for sure. Okay, so there's time between the end of tomorrow, the end of the week, of course, and next Tuesday when I see. Okay, so what I get done by the end of this week, you should have ready. Okay, so if you don't do it in class with me, there are instructions within Zip. Yeah, there are. Okay, so if you did that correctly, here's something to check. So what I would do is so if you haven't got tool space showing, right, so here's Topo 543. Go to the tool space, and instead of prospector, go to the settings tab. In settings, there's a surface directory, so expand that using the plus sign. And then if you go to surface styles, you'll see there are only 2. If you have more than 2, if there's a long list of surface styles, then you didn't use my template. You accidentally selected the template that came with AutoCAD. Okay, so that's the telltale sign. So double check. So if you've got your topo file ready, let me do that again. If you're in the topo drawing and you go to tool space, instead of prop vector, go to the settings tab in tool space. And under surface styles, there should only be 2. If there's more than 2, there's a long list of about, I think there's 10 standard ones. I deleted them all. I only left these 2. If there's more than 2, then you did it wrong. So do it again. Okay? And follow those 3 simple steps. The other thing you want to be mindful of is, again, go to your desktop and Explorer. You should have one directory called CDA 543. And when you're done, you should have a downloads directory and a 543 topo drawing. Please store it in this standard location. And in downloads, you should have another directory called module 1 with all the modules data that you need. And what we did was the first step 0, getting started. Okay, setting it. Tomorrow we're going to begin with a discussion of 1, 2, if you sort these by type. We're going to talk about description keys, points and point labels, point groups. Now, if you want to try doing this on your own, you can. You can start without me, but I'll certainly cover it all tomorrow. And there's that template I asked you to use, right, in that directory. Now, which topo number are you? You got to go to gradebook. Okay, so in gradebook, I'm going to make that available now for those of you who want to know. Everybody's probably chomping at the bit. Let me stop sharing here. I'm going to make that available now. So if I go to the course contact, so if you go to the course website, CDA 543, and you go to Grade Center, full Grade Center, where all your grades are, there's going to be a column there called Topo. I'll make it available right now. So if you go to Gradebook, you should see a column called Topo, T-O-P-O, and there's a number. It's either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8. So see which number has been assigned to you, and you can delete the others. Okay, so I'm going to pick on somebody. Yeah, that's exactly right. Caitlin, what did you get? Top, what, 6, okay. And Michael, you got topo 1. So whatever topo number you have, Caitlin, you got 6. You can delete 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. You don't need them. Okay? So if my number is 3, I delete all topos with exactly. That's right, Jamar. So please, you can go ahead and do that. You will not need them, and if you get rid of the ones that aren't assigned to you, there's less likely that you're going to use them by mistake. Okay. So please check what topo number has been assigned to you and delete the others. You only need the one. So like I said, going forward, I know which topo number you're supposed to be using. When I mark your drawings for work done, there's certain results I'm looking for that are going to be based on what you were assigned. So if you use the wrong topo number, you're going to be, you're not going to get the marks that you're supposed to get. So if, Caitlin, you're using 5 instead of 6, when I go to mark something, I'm going to be looking for certain specific values, certain things that is associated with topo 6. If you use the wrong topo, you're not going to get full marks. Okay? So please be very, very careful. And if you guys remember highways, remember when I asked you to use your student number digit for calculations? This is similar to that. If you use the wrong digits, you're going to automatically be wrong. Okay, so just be mindful. There's another column, I'll make it available next week. It's for the site letter. So then you're going to get a site A, B, C, D, E, F, or G. And that's the site you'll do. So you'll get all the sites, you're going to delete the ones that don't belong to you, and then you're going to do your work based on your unique topo site letter. Okay, so again, a couple of reasons for doing this. From an administrative perspective, obviously I'm trying to reduce the amount of shenanigans going on. It's always a concern for teachers. But in my opinion, I think it's just a way to help you guarantee that you do your own work. You must do your own work. At the end of the day, when you graduate, that diploma is absolutely useless if you don't learn something. What's more important in this program, not the piece of paper at the end, but the knowledge you gain along the way. So you're only cheating yourself if you don't do the work yourself. So I'm just trying to create an environment that challenges you and, guarantees you do your own work. Okay? It may sound like a punitive thing, but really it's a guarantee to you that I'm making sure you learn what you're supposed to learn. Because what's more important is what you know, not the piece of paper at the end of the day. Okay, so just take that up as a challenge, I hope. And once you learn something, once you have a skill, no one can take it away. So that's what I'm hoping to give you by the end of this semester and the program next semester. Okay, so do your best, do your own work. Please help each other. Again, I know people, everybody's met